Democrats said Donald Trump should not visit the Wisconsin city where protests erupted last week after a black man was shot in the back by a white police officer, while the Republican president said strength was the only way to deal with unrest. The shooting of Jacob Blake on the 22nd of August in front of 3 of his children turned Kenosha, a mostly white city south of Milwaukee, into the latest flashpoint in a summer of U.S. demonstrations against police brutality and racism ahead of Mr. Trump's November re-election bid. Mr. Trump has taken a hard stand against the racial protests, and the White House said he will visit the Midwestern city on Tuesday, raising concerns among Democrats that this may worsen the strife. Jacob Blake's family leads an anti-violence march in Kenosha, Wisconsin. They centered an entire convention around creating more animosity and creating more division around what's going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin's Democratic Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes told CNN, referring to last week's Republican National Convention. So I don't know how, given any of the previous statements that the president made, that he intends to come here to be helpful, and we absolutely don't need that right now, he added. Critics accuse Mr. Trump, who faces Democratic former Vice President Joe Biden in the 3rd of November election, of seeking to exacerbate violence with incendiary rhetoric, while the president has repeatedly called in tweets for law and order. The deadly violence we saw overnight in Portland is unacceptable. Shooting in the streets of a great American city is unacceptable. I condemn violence of every kind by anyone, whether on the left or the right. And I challenge Donald Trump to do the same. https://t.go/Drew7year2wv. Joe Biden, at Joe Biden August 30, 2020. Enters a statement on Sunday. Mr. Biden accused Mr. Trump of recklessly encouraging violence. He may believe tweeting about law and order makes him strong, but his failure to call on his supporters to stop seeking conflict shows just how weak he is. He may think that war in our streets is good for his re-election chances, but that is not presidential leadership, or even basic human compassion. Republicans accuse Democratic mayors and state governors of losing control of cities rocked by demonstrations that have seen outbreaks of violence, arson and vandalism. U.S. Representative Karen Bass, a Democrat who chairs the Congressional Black Caucus, said Mr. Trump's trip to Kenosha would only increase tensions. His visit has one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to agitate things, she told CNN's State of the Union. We're 66 days from an election, and I think it's a tragedy that we have a president that is doing everything he can to fan the flames. Anger over Mr. Blake's shooting sparked 3 nights of unrest in Kenosha, including clashes between anti-racism protesters and armed militia members. 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse is accused of shooting dead 2 men and wounding another who were protesting against Jacob Blake's shooting. On Tuesday, a white teenager with a semi-automatic rifle shot 3 demonstrators, killing 2 of them. The 17-year-old suspect, Kyle Rittenhouse, is charged with 6 criminal counts, including first-degree homicide, in connection with the incident, which was captured in several witness videos. His lawyers say he acted in self-defense after traveling to Kenosha from his home 50 kilometers away in Antioch, Illinois, to help protect businesses during the unrest. They called his prosecution a reactionary rush to appease the divisive, destructive forces currently roiling this country. Rittenhouse has also received support from some right-wing commentators who have hailed the former YMCA lifeguard as a hero who wanted to help law enforcement. Supporters of President Donald Trump attend a rally and car parade in Clackamas, Oregon, on the way to Portland. Another flashpoint has been Portland, Oregon, where 1 person was shot and killed late on Saturday, after 3 months of nightly protests since the 25th of May death of George Floyd in Minneapolis police custody. The Portland shooting came after a caravan of Trump supporters drove into the downtown area where there were confrontations with protesters, according to videos posted on social media. Police urged the public to let detectives do their work before drawing conclusions about what took place. 0:00 share on Twitter, share on Facebook. Mr. Trump sent several tweets and retweets at the weekend criticizing Portland's Democratic mayor, Ted Wheeler, and again urging him to request help from federal law enforcement. The people of Portland, like all other cities and parts of our great country, want law and order, Mr. Trump wrote on Twitter on Sunday. The only way you will stop the violence in the high-crime Democrat-run cities is through strength. The people of Portland, like all other cities and parts of our great country, want law and order. The radical left Democrat mayors, like the dummy running Portland, or the guy right now in his basement unwilling to lead or even speak out against crime, will never be able to do it. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump. August 30, 2020. Mr. Biden has defended peaceful protesters, saying justice must be done, but he has repeatedly called for an end to violence. In his statement on Sunday, he called the Portland violence unacceptable. Asked on CBS Face the Nation whether Mr. Trump's social media posts were heightening tensions, Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf said absolutely not. Pressed on whether local law enforcement should crack down on violence by pro-Mr. Trump groups as well as by anti-racism protesters, Mr. Wolf said he wanted them to address any violent activity. Let's block ads.
Show your love for him. Click the link in description. Thanks for watching.